In this video, I want to discuss the 4 things that you must look at when you're purchasing an existing assisted living business. So therefore, if you guys are interested, make sure to stick around. What's up, everyone? I hope you guys are all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Serge. Welcome to the channel. To all my reoccurring viewers, guys, thank you so much for all the love and support that you guys have shown this channel. I greatly appreciate every single one of you guys. And if you have not, go ahead, feel free to go check out the academy that I've created for you guys and for everyone who's interested into jumping into this business and is interested in starting one or buying one. Regardless, feel free to go check it out. I will link it down below for you guys. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the topic of this video. If you are a buyer that's looking to actually purchase an existing business that has a system already in place and you just don't know what to look for and don't know what to look at, this is definitely a video that you guys want to watch all the way through the end. So make sure that you guys do that. And the first thing that you guys need to actually purchase is make sure that you either have cash or the seller is actually willing to do a carry-on the loan, or the seller has 3 years of income taxes in order to see what their cash flow looks like, what they've made consistently over those 3 years. Why 3 years? Why not 2 years or a year? Well, the reason being is because the first year, usually when they start up, they're going to have startup expenses. Therefore, they're not going to be able to most likely have a positive return for that following year. So therefore, they're not going to really show that they've made any money that first year. So if they've just started the business, they have not had enough time to actually start the business, and therefore they don't have enough time to actually show a positive return on their money. The second year is when they slowly start actually gaining some traction, start gaining some reputation. Therefore, they have time to actually start making some positive cash flow their second year. And sometimes even in the second year, they really don't make any money and they just probably break even for that year. And then the third year is when they really show, that's where it's more stable and the business has been stabilized more often than not. So therefore, the third year is usually when they'll show a positive cash return. And over those 3 years, you'll be able to see the consistency of how often they've been vacant, how often they have not, if it's really a good location, if it's really not a good location. So 3 years minimum. If they have more years in business, great. But look for the last 3 years of how long they've been in the business. So the most recent 3 years. Now, the second thing that you need to be aware of is the seller needs to disclose their contracts with any Medicaid providers. Why is this very important? The reason being is because most contracts, they have clauses in them that actually void those specific contracts with those providers if the business were to ever be sold. Make sure that you guys actually hire an attorney when you guys have these contracts overlooked. Do not just overlook them by yourself or by the seller's attorney, or if the seller is just saying, hey, the contracts are all okay, they're all here and you guys will have them at the time when the business sells. Now, this third thing is something that could be negotiated with the seller, depending on what the terms are and depending on what you are able to do financially. Don't ever really pay upfront the full amount. And also, if you can, just work on a payment monthly, or down payment, or do some type of balloon payment at the end. And the reason being is because I feel like if you pay full upfront, there may be some things that come on down the road that, if you completely pay up front the full amount, you won't be able to go back on the sellers and say, hey, this situation came up. Something may happen where you will need the attention of the sellers in order to help you through a certain process. And I truly believe that if you can still kind of maintain that relationship, you just don't pay the full amount up front and they just take the money and leave and really don't ever have to worry about them. And if something comes up within the next few months, they're already gone. They're not obligated to really help you through anything or really make sure that you have everything in place to make sure that you have a successful business. On the different options to purchase the business, make sure that you have written contingency clauses and also notarized signatures. This is very important because when it comes down to selling a business and overall signing any type of contract, anything of that sort, when you have notarized signatures and you have different clauses in place, especially contingencies, to make sure that you don't get scammed or get taken advantage of during this entire process of purchasing a business, It's really important to have those clauses in place and those contingencies in place. And then the notarized signatures are obviously something that is very important because ultimately it can come. You have witnesses to overall see the entire, agreement and entire sell and buy of the entire business. So it's very important that you guys do that if you're thinking of buying an existing business, guys. Also, with the buying an existing business, it's also very important to make sure that you do hire an attorney, guys. It is very important that you have someone look over all the paperwork, all the legal paperwork, all the residence agreements, everything of that sort. Make sure that you have your attorney look over those because there may be certain things where a resident has only signed to be there a certain period, right? They may have an addendum added to their contract that you're not well aware of. If this is going to be your first time buying an existing assisted living business, it's very important that you go through these processes because one way or another you may overlook something, and it's good to always have a different set of eyes look over all the proper legal paperwork, and then also not only all the proper legal paperwork but also all the different contracts and all the different policies and procedures that are in place with that specific business, and also to overlook the entire system that is implemented in that existing business because there may be certain things that come up. For instance, one other thing that I would highly suggest that you guys do is look at all the inspections for that specific facility. I know that's an obvious one, but when you're buying a business, it kind of goes over your head to really do all that proper due diligence. And also, it's very important that you look at all the different inspections because the reason the inspections for those businesses would be very important is because the reputation of that business is based off of those inspections that will make or break the entire deal. So it is very important that you guys look at all those inspections. Also, make sure to interview the different caregivers. Also, sit down with the manager. If the manager happens to just be the owner, that's fine. But if there's a manager hired to be managing that entire assisted living, make sure to sit down and talk with them and ask them how long they've been there, what the pros and cons of the business and dealing with the owner has been like, and then also ask the general questions, right? Ask, how often do they stay vacant or how often are they full? How hard is it to get residents into that specific home? What do they suggest would be better? What they suggest is really great. And it's really good to interview those employees towards the end. You don't really want to do that in the beginning phases of buying the business, when you're just looking and doing more research and doing your due diligence. Once you're set on the fact that you are about to buy the business, it's really good to sit down and actually talk with the employees and interview the employees and make sure that overall everything looks really good. And guys, if you are buying an existing assisted living home, that is what I highly recommend that you do. Also, on an investment aspect, I'm not going to get into too much depth about this, but to start an assisted living business from scratch is actually a better return on your money than it is to actually go buy an existing business. That's just a little gold nugget that I added here. But if you guys feel like you want me to elaborate more on that, feel free to comment down below for me. If you found this video very valuable, please hit that like button. Also, smash that subscribe button if you guys haven't yet. I am coming to you guys every week now, just one time a week, just because I feel like if I don't want to congest my channel with too many videos at once, and I want you guys to be able to digest everything. So that is why I'm only coming one time a week on Tuesday at 11:30. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and also that notification bell for me. And guys, again, go watch all these other videos that are up here for you guys. They're very informative, so feel free to go watch those videos. So guys, until next time, God bless.